Guys, we are going to connect to the server. The server is a container and it has a bunch of information in it, data that you want to copy and paste over from, okay? Really the server is just this black box somewhere in the school that's networked into a shortcut that you can, it's just like the cloud, like, you know, your Google Drive is like this folder that you can save things to. That's what the server is, okay? So most of you should have this shortcut on your dock. It's this little globe. If you double click it, you'll see I actually clicked it twice, so it's now going to connect twice. You'll see a little icon appear. This is the icon that is your shortcut to get to all the folders on your server, okay? If you are missing there's other ways you can get to the server. If you hit the Finder over here, making sure that you're in Finder, you can see it up here. If I hit Command K, it'll bring up this shortcut window and I can connect. The other way too is if you're in Finder, you see Finder up here. If you go to Go and you can say Connect to Server, these are all ways that you can connect to the server. So I'm going to connect. We'll see that icon. And then we'll see this window, and this is all the things that are saved to the server. Now the server is set to read only, which means that you can copy and paste files over to your desktop from the server, but you're not allowed to edit any files, you're not allowed to delete any of these files. It's just for me to share information for you. So while you're in the server, you're going to look into the video and animation folder, and inside you're going to see computer technology folder. You're going to click and drag that to your first and last name video 1819 folder. Okay, and it's copying over the information inside that folder. All right, and then now I can close the server and I can even disconnect from it and throw that away. All right, let's look inside your computer technology folder. You should see a Premiere profile, and I also want you to see what's inside here. This is your footage. This is what's called a scratch disk. And a scratch disk has your video files in it. If you have any music, audio files, if you have any still images, you're gonna put that into what's called a scratch disk. And what a scratch disk is it's a folder linked to your Premiere profile, okay? If you don't create this scratch disk, if you don't create this folder and tell Premiere where this folder is, and you have files on your desktop, you have files on a USB drive, you have files all over the place, they're not going to be properly linked, okay? When you import footage like video, audio, or still pictures, animation, when you import them into your Premiere profile, it's just linked, okay? It's not embedded, meaning if I deleted this and out of my folder and you open up your Premiere profile, it's going to be missing. All right, so let's go ahead and launch my Premiere profile and for you. I'm going to hit accept here. You should see it in your project bin, and then you should also see it on the timeline. And we'll get more into this next week about how to edit and how to use Premiere Profile. But right now we're just checking to understand this idea of what a scratch disk is, what a Premiere Profile looks like, and then how do we actually export the footage all into one compressed file so that I could upload it to YouTube or I can share it with somebody and they can watch it on a video player. So it's taking a little bit of time to launch here. All right, what's it's doing? It's opening and it's looking for all my libraries. There's going to be tons of plugins and effects and stuff that it needs to actually upload. We can see it all here. There's filters. So it does take a little bit of time to actually open this program because it's so big and it has so much information that it needs to load when opening. So give it a second. Check in with your neighbor. How are you doing today? Having a good day? Really? Okay, while we're waiting for this, you'll also see an autosave folder as well. And what that does is while you're working, it automatically tries to save your work every once in a while. So you might see some backup files in here too, in that autosave. Still launching. Look at all these bundles it's loading, all these cool effects and transitions and text and fonts that I'm going to be able to use in my video once it loads. Look at all those. effects that I'm going to be able to use. Keen, so I can do green screen effects. Yep, a lot of stuff for you here. All right, here we go, here we go. Woo! Okay, I'm going to skip this. All right, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to double click to open this project file. So it's locating the media, it's looking for that footage folder. And then it's going to take a second. And this will happen. This is a really robust, really complex software application. Okay, so let's talk about what we have here. On the left here, this is called your source files. So if you pick any of your videos, maybe you want to preview that video, you're going to be able to double click it over here and see it. Versus we have what's called our program sequence. And this is my timeline down here. And notice that I dragged a bunch of footage here. And this is showing my complete movie. Okay, so preview your individual clips, set your in and out points, and then this is after you've done that, you've put them all together, you put them in your timeline, and this is where you can see it all together. Down here in your lower left, you might have more than one tab, but you want to make sure you have the project, what I call the project bin open. And this is where you're going to import all your individual footage files, and then you can click and drag these to your timeline. Okay, so notice that your timeline is called, in this case, sequence 01. So I'm going to look in my project bin, and here we go. We see this interesting, we see sequence 1. We also see a different icon. So this is saying that this is footage. Do you see how it has a video icon and it has an audio icon? So this means it's footage. It's video footage that has audio attached to it, telling me information about the screen rate, frames per second, how many, all this information about that video clip, okay? And it's also telling me it's an MPEG-2 file. That's what was created by the camera. Now, I need to create what's called a sequence to be able, it's like a container, so I can drop all of these in here, okay? So we'll learn that when we're doing editing, but we have this container now, and we have all this footage that has been put in here, okay? So let's pretend this is my finished movie, and right now it's a Premiere Pro file. It's not an exported compressed file. I can't share this Premiere Pro file with somebody and they could be able to double click on it and open it and watch it. We have to compress it into a video file, and then we can share it, we can upload it, we can do whatever we want with it. Because right now it's a Premiere Pro file. Notice too, up here there's a little asterisk. That means I've made changes and I haven't saved. So that's why you see this little asterisk here. So I'm going to pick the sequence 1 right here, and I'm going to export this file. So to do that, I want to make sure I'm picking the sequence icon. We're picking the name of the sequence. I'm going to go to File, Export, and then Media. So we pick the sequence, File, Export, Media. Then I'm going to get this new window that's going to appear. And it's going to tell me, well, what kind of format do you want to export it in? Okay, so what kind of container do I want to put this in to be able to share? So this is going to depend on, you know, are you making a DVD? Are you putting this on YouTube? Are you giving this to somebody? Do you want to make it an animated GIF? So there's all these different reasons why you'd want to pick a different one. For today, we're going to pick MPEG-2. And notice that the extension for that is .mpg. And then it's going to say output name. This is where I'm going to select this blue underline, and I'm going to say my first name, last name, underscore, and then you always do the name of the project, and then underscore, and then you're going to do the date for the day. All right. Now, where is it saving to? So you might have a smaller one like this. If you want to navigate to a different folder, you can go to this arrow right here, and it's going to expand this window. So now I can go to desktop, I can look for my first name, last name folder, and I want to put it in my computer technology folder. So this is the Premiere Pro file, and I want to make it a compressed, exported footage file that I can share and upload, turn in. So you're never ever going to pick the Premiere Pro file to send to me. All I'll get is an empty file. I won't have any footage in it, it won't be compressed, it won't be exported. You're always going to do the exported one. Okay, it's named correctly. All right, so now I'm ready to go. I'm going to hit save. I want to make sure that export video and export audio are both checked off because I want to export a video that has video and audio. The last thing, it's an option. You could do use maximum render quality. I always do this because I want to have the highest quality image. And then I'm going to hit the export button. And what that's going to do is it's going to take some time. It's going to encode. So it's picking the codecs that it's going to compress it into. And then it's going to go through another one and it's exported. So I'm going to minimize this for a second. And then we're going to go to my first and last name video. I'm going to go into my computer technology folder, and I should have a file that's the one that I named. It's the project name and the date, today's date, and it should say .mpg. When I right-click this file, I can open it, and notice it's like, do you want to play this in QuickTime? Do you want to play this in VLC? Okay, so I can use a number of different players to actually play this video, and now I can upload this to Turnitin. I can share this on YouTube. I can share this through email. So now this is a compressed exported video. Now if I look at this Premiere Pro file, if I right click and open with, it's only going to let me open it with Premiere Pro. Okay, so if you shared that with somebody, not only would it be empty because the footage is not attached, it's not embedded, but only with somebody with Premiere Pro would be able to open it, and they won't be able to play it. So that's a huge difference here, and that's how you export a video to Turnitin and share.